we are going to focus on the parts of a flower today. Feel free to review the parts of a plant or parts of a leaf before you do this lesson. So first is the flower. The flower is the reproductive organ of a plant. It enables the plant to make seeds. The typical flower has several parts. The parts are arranged in whorls. Next is the carpel. The carpel of the flower holds the ovules. Fertilized ovules become the seed. Part of the carpel becomes the fruit. The carpel is in the center of the flower. The flower may have more than one carpel. Pollen sticks to the end of the carpel and starts fertilization. The carpel is sometimes called the female part of a flower. Some botanists call this part the simple pistil. Okay, next we're going to look at the stamens. The stamens of the flower produce pollen. They usually form a whorl around the pistil. The stamens are sometimes called the male parts of a flower. You can see the little yellow part that's colored. Next is most of our favorite, which is a petal. The petals of the flower surround the pistil and stamens. Petals are usually brightly colored. They have small veins that are hard to see. Petals attract pollinators to the flowers. Corolla. The corolla of the flower is all of the petals. It is the whorl of parts that is closest to the pistil and stamens. This corolla is made of distinct petals. In some kinds of flowers, the petals are joined together. And in Latin, corolla means little crown. Pretty. Next is the sepal. The sepal covers the flower bud and protects it until it is ready to bloom. Sepals are usually green and look much like leaves. And in Greek, this means covering. Next is calyx. The calyx is all the sepals of the flower. It is the outermost whorl of flower parts. This calyx is made of distinct sepals. In some flowers, the sepals are joined together, and in Greek, it means a husk or outer covering. I think it's interesting that it has the etymology of some of the words because it helps us remember what the words mean and sort of how they got their name too. Okay, on to our next. The perianth. The perianth is all of the petals and sepals of the flower. The flower has petals and sepals. In some flowers, the perianth parts all look much alike and are called tepals. So this one, it talks about the etymology, peri meaning around and anthus meaning flower. So it means around flower or around the flower. It's interesting. Lastly, we have the receptacle. You can see that little green part. The receptacle forms at the end of the flower stem. The receptacle is a small pad that is wider than the stem. The other flower parts attach to the receptacle. And this is from a Latin word, and it means a receiver. That is neat. Okay, so here we have all of the parts of a flower. You can feel free to find your own flower. Maybe it's one that's fallen off of a tree, or maybe it's one that you've asked nature to borrow so that you can learn from it, or you can label your own drawn flower, or get creative with making your own flower, maybe out of paper or recycled materials, and make it very colorful. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Also, if you were really ambitious, you could make a little book of all of the etymology meanings of the words. That would be a lot of fun too.